This is Grocery Talks with food distribution guys Richard Baker, where we provide food manufacturers with a greater understanding of Canada's grocery sector. And now, here's our host, Richard Baker.
Today, I'm pleased to be joined on the line by Joanne McArthur, President and Founder of Nourish Food Marketing, Canada's only full-service marketing agency specialized in the food sector. A pleasure to have you, Joanne, and thank you for your time.
Oh, my pleasure, Richard.
Can you provide us with a brief overview of Nourish Food Marketing and the history behind the organization?
Sure. I always say we know a lot about a little. So we specialize in food across the entire food ecosystem. So we work with, producers, processors, retailers, associations, food service. So really trying to create meaning and value across the food ecosystem. And, we're like a full service advertising marketing firm. But again, everybody here specializes in food. We've got package designers, digital marketers, traditional marketers. We have a test kitchen and recipe developers and chefs. Excellent. And a whole studios. So and I'm proud to say that we still have our very first food client from 13 years ago. So
wow, congratulations.
That makes me very happy.
No, that's a great accomplishment. So I know every year, Joanne, that Nourish Food Marketing comes out with a yearly trend report. What is the process behind this report?
Yeah, a lot of gnashing of teeth. So I think it's our 6th year. And a few years ago, we expanded it to include agriculture as well, because of course, we're starting to see trends come from both sides and kind of try to bridge that gap and meet in the middle, some more successfully than others. And so again, because we work across the whole food ecosystem, I think we're in sort of a privileged position to see how trends and change develop, right? A lot of times trends start in one place and then move their way through.
Yes.
And so, when we're in terms of tradecraft, we have a lot of proprietary databases, research studies we do. We also interview a number of experts in different areas. Wow. And we put this to bed in, I guess, October. You have to get it all written and everything, and then it gets designed and released. So it's a lot of work.
Well, it's an excellent report. I've had a chance to review it, and I commend you on your report again this year. And could you comment on the 3 trends that really stood out to myself? First is boomers and seniors are coming on strong. Secondly is using purpose transparency to gain consumer trust. And third, eating for gut health goes mainstream.
Sure. So the first one, the boomers and seniors, we really think that coming out of COVID, there's going to be more of a focus on this group. First, they're a huge group. They have most of the wealth in society. But if you look at it from a marketer standpoint, they're totally underrepresented and under-targeted. And I know that even through research, very little food research is done amongst consumers who are over the age of 65. Right. And that's, we've all been guilty of that, from the start of my career when I was at Procter & Gamble. But this group, because they have the money, they're really interested in what I'd call health span rather than lifespan.
Okay.
And they want to remain in place. They want to age in their home. They don't want to go to long-term care, assisted living, because they've seen what's happened during the pandemic, right?
Yes.
So they're going to do everything they can to fight aging. And so they're looking for products that are going to support that mission. And, that could mean skeletal health. It could mean, more functional foods, muscle health as well. So we're expecting to see a lot more products like that and a lot more services, because this group also during COVID, jumped that digital divide.
Yes, correct.
But they need a little more help, right, when they're ordering groceries online and things like that. But what we know,
and in today's market, they seem to be the forgotten group. With the
totally
millennials,
forgotten.
millennials and Generation Z are the buzz groups for today.
yeah, they're the sexy group, but
Yes,
don't forget
exactly.
about who has the money and who's willing to spend it to fight aging like no previous generation before. And I think
Exactly.
that's why, yeah, in
Yeah.
our trend report, we actually show that meme that was going around showing, what the Golden Girl looked like on that show versus Jennifer Lopez, same age, but look at how
Yes.
differently we
Correct.
age now, right?
Yes,
So I think that's
exactly.
important for marketers
Yeah.
to remember.
Yeah.
And then you asked about
Purpose
uh,
transparency.
purpose. Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, we've been talking about this through our trend reports for a number of years, but I think it's really become table stakes now because we're entering an age of, I think, increased cynicism. Right? Trust is falling, and I think brands really need to move from market to me to matter to me. And we've been talking about this whole radical transparency movement,
Yes.
but I think it's going to become table stakes. We saw during COVID that food system was front page news. And consumers started really looking into where their food came from and an understanding of how their food gets to them. And now that curtain's been opened a bit, they want to go right in and understand, how the land was treated, how the workers were treated, animals, all
Correct.
the way through. Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that's going to continue to be important.
And the last one you made mention earlier is functional foods. That gets into the eating for the gut health, goes mainstream, really.
Yeah, gut health. It's really is becoming mainstream. If you see the number of searches and the whole discussion around our microbiome, which is really that bacteria, and it turns out that we probably truly are what we eat. So consumers have spent a lot of money on those DNA tests to understand their traits and everything, but it turns out that our gut bacteria is the most important thing.
Wow. Yeah.
And so there may not be just one way of eating.
Mhm.
Different microbiomes are going to need different kinds of food. And it's interesting, we've seen Nestle put a lot of money into this area, and Unilever, my old employer as well, they just made a big purchase a couple of weeks ago of a company. What was it called? It was called Holobiome, and they
Okay.
basically have a microbiome vault that Unilever bought. So they'll be able to go in there and unlock more secrets around, what is a healthy gut biome, and develop products. So it sounds
Wow.
very new age and future, but I think it's coming fast.
I agree.
And we
Yeah.
can see that in terms of consumer conversations around that area as well.
Yeah. A couple of years ago, you made mention in one of your reports about upcycled food. For those
Mm.
consumers who are not aware of this term, could you just give us some insight into what this term means?
Yeah. So yeah, I looked back, and it was our 2018, so 4 years ago, that we talked about this. And if you think of it upcycled, it's really turning trash into treasure. So if I go into, I was trying to remember what was the original upcycled product, and it probably was cookies and cream, ice cream,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
Remember they took, I think it was Oreo cookies that
Yes.
had no value, right? That
Yep.
were being thrown out, and they mixed it into ice cream. Well,
Correct.
that
Yes.
product got so popular that they now crush on purpose. They have to crush the cookies on purpose to
Right.
create that input, right? But to me, that's sort of the original upcycled product. And so
Yes.
now we're seeing spent grains from beer brewing, going into to make bread. We're seeing even coffee grinds going into beauty scrubs. So
Yes.
it's trying to eliminate garbage. And if you look at produce, we could even say upcycled, those imperfect fruits and vegetables that are being branded and sold by retailers. And, consumers are gravitating more towards that because they understand how much food is being wasted now.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. Correct. So, Joanne, for anyone that would like to get a copy of your report, what is the best way for them to download your food trends report for 2022?
Yeah, it's free. It's a 40-page report, free for download. Just go to our website, which is nourish.marketing. No .com, no .ca, just nourish.marketing. And I'd also, encourage people to download previous years as well, because, trends continue to develop over time. And you can also,
Yes,
check on our track record as well. So that's
exactly.
kind of fun.
And for anyone that would like to make contact with you, what's the best way to make contact with you?
Yeah, so link in with me and also email me. And my email is the letter J at nourish.marketing.
Excellent. Well, thank you again to Joanne McArthur for being our guest. And if you're a food manufacturer seeking distribution in Canada's grocery sector, please visit our website, www.fooddistributionguy.com. Thank you again, Joanne.
My pleasure.